Hi there, this is Freddy Poveda, and on this video I'm going to talk to you about masterminds. So let's say you are an investor, it could be a beginner or an experienced investor, and right now you're thinking of joining potentially a mastermind. So in this video I'm going to talk to you about or give you my point of view on masterminds. And towards the end of the video I would like to share with you some of my story, where I come from, my history on real estate. So let's begin. So you are new in the business or have done this for a few years, and right now you're in a point that you're considering joining a mastermind. Should you do it? Well, I'm gonna go right to the point. The answer is yes, you should join a mastermind, and here is why. Remember that book, Think and Grow Rich? This idea of bringing external voices into your business? That is basically what this masterminds is all about. If you were to have a big company, and let's think about these Fortune 500 companies, they have the CEO, and every company has also board of directors. That's the external voice for the CEO. So if the bigger companies do it, you cannot afford not to have external voices. Now the next thing is that you also get to sit next to people just like yourself, doing the same business with the same problems, and together you get ideas of how to overcome those issues. And there is a psychological thing that happens when you're in a mastermind, where you're sitting with 10, 20 people and you see the success of some of them. Something inside of you, maybe the ego, it says something like, well, if this bozo can do it, I should be able to do it. That is the little thing that you get out of the mastermind. You get to this social pressure or social something that you're like, well, if this guy can do it, I can do it as well. And the other thing is that when you go there, you share your experience, they share theirs. You get to experience new strategies and tactics that are working right now for the business. So it gives you like a huge advantage over anybody else that is not part of that mastermind. All right. And actually, let me share with you some personal story. I've been in the business 7 years or so. When I was a newbie, let's say in my second year in the business, I attended one of those seminars where they pitch a potential for a mastermind. Long story short, I decided not to join. I said, let me do it on my own. I'll figure it out. All right, so that was my story. I did not join it. I did not look for external voices. And this is what happens. I went to that same event 4 years later, and here I am again, doing okay on the business, but all basically by myself. It did not go 100x my business from the previous meeting. On that particular event, I got to hear one of the guys on the stage, and he shared the story that he went to that same event 4 years ago. He joined the masterminds, he got external voices, and now he was actually presenting his multi-million-dollar business. So that day I realized that, man, be on a mastermind is key. It allows you to take that quantum giant step. So having said that, why don't I invite you right now to come with me to one of my masterminds that I joined. It's actually in Phoenix, Arizona. So let me invite you, let me give you first hand exposure of what it is like, the mastermind. So you ready? Let's go to Phoenix, Arizona. Now, one of the cool things about experiencing the meeting in person, the mastermind in person, is the networking effect. Of course, you get to basically make new friends. You get to hear the main organizer, which usually is someone that is doing the business for many years more than you, and you get to share your numbers and your experience with them, and in exchange they'll give you feedback. And that is that external voice that we always talk about, that is so important in business. And now a little bit about my presentation. So hi guys, I'm basically a wholesaler. I've been doing wholesaling, mostly land in a small market in Florida. I've been doing that since like 2016, and that's the core of my business. And I joined this mastermind last year with the idea of taking all those concepts that I got from land and apply them into houses. And so that's what I've been doing for the last 1 year or so. I live right now in New York City. Because of the land business is a little bit different than houses, I've basically been doing it virtually for, since the beginning. So that allows me to live in New York. I sometimes go to Florida a lot, but just for, because I like it. And I used to spend a lot of time in Colombia. I visit where I am from. That's my wife, that's my son. He's now 10 years old. So the reason why I live in New York City, which is, high taxes, expensive cost of living, but he's there. So at some point I made the decision, do I want to be an absent father or do I want to be a present father? So then go back to New York. That's the little bit of my background. So this is the house that I grew up in Bogota, in Colombia. House in a area where, not the best area of town, where you take a taxi and they don't want to take you there. So that's me. After I moved to New York, I was about 22 years old. Had the opportunity to go to private college in Colombia. I became an engineer. Then right away I moved here. And for 5 years, while I was learning the language and stuff, I worked doing all these kind of odd jobs. And the best of that was waiter for 5 years. And after that tunnel, I started to buy things first on eBay, online. And all of a sudden, I realized that maybe I can sell stuff on eBay. So I started to do it. Then I did it on Amazon. It was not a lot of money, but just enough to replace being a waiter. And, I realized that it could give me a lot of time free. Because I had a lot of time on my hands, I made this is a Barnes & Noble in New York City where you can basically buy a coffee and read all the books that you want. So for about 3 years, that's what I did between 5 p.m. and around midnight. I was there every night reading books about business and stuff. And then the book that made the difference was this one with Tony Robbins. That was like 2003 or so. And with that one, then I started to believe that, hey, maybe I can become an entrepreneur and have a business. And out of that period, then I started to do a lot of businesses. I did Spanish tutoring via Skype. I created a pet taxi service in New York City. And I did a sound rental business and many more. Around that time, then I purchased this minivan, $4,000. And so that's what, I had this like Spanish tutoring website where I was like, I can make millions on this website, on this business, if I execute it the right way. But at the same time, the problem was, how am I going to pay the rent while I make it on that business? So I started to do this. I was the driver of the pet taxi service. And that led me to audiobooks. And out of those audiobooks, then it became YouTube. And at some point, that's when I found Sean Terry's stuff about wholesaling houses, real estate. Also, Robert Kiyosaki's Rich Dad, Poor Dad. So I started to go that way instead. I'm here in this mastermind, obviously, to look for the next level. But I already have a lot of stuff in my life that I can already be super grateful for. So that's me like 2 months ago in Cancun. I went to a Joe Dispenza event for a 6-day retreat. And so when you can do this, it means now you have the money to go there and the time to be away from the business. And this is me like a month ago crewing for Tony Robbins. I do a lot of Tony Robbins events all the time. And because of that mindset, then as I said, I already have a lot. Look what I have. This is where I live right now, and this is where I drive. So I'm super grateful with life. All of that, however, I say, whatever it is that I'm building or where I am is personal growth. So to do that, I do multiple Tony Robbins events every year.
The last one before this?
The previous one?
Yeah, right there where you live now.
Yes.
Look at the difference between where you were in Colombia. And
Yeah.
I mean, you got to take a second to appreciate that, and everyone should appreciate kind of where you started and where you're at now. Let's go!
Thank you. Thank you. I have my doubts about putting this slide here because I'm not about showing off, but it is important to me to tell this story.
I mean, don't look at it as showing off. This right here is showing your journey.
Yeah.
So it's really cool to see this. And when you go to Nick's Mastermind, you need to put the exact same thing in there, because I guarantee you Nick is going to say the same thing. He's a friend of mine and he appreciates.
Well, Phoenix, it has been great to see you. Time to go home and put into practice my list of the takeaways that I'm getting out of these events.